like your great-grandfather, he made a very bold decision to leave his home at such a young age as a teenager. You did as well, and you mentioned you joined the police academy at 15 years old. What did a very young Mal Meninga do in the capital of Queensland?
Oh, God.
And how did you find your sense of your role, your way as a young man?
Yeah, it was fairly traumatic. I remember it vividly, you know, so getting there on the first day, I knew nobody. And, but I grew in confidence through sport, you know, so, you know, I played rugby league as a kid, but I didn't know how good I was until a big, stretchy constable, senior constable, come up to me and said to me, "Oh, you play rugby league, do you?" "Yeah, yes, constable." And he sort of, as he was turning away, he said, "Oh, we'll see." That was my first adventure with Wayne Bennett. He was so instrumental in building my self-confidence, you know, because he said to me that, you know, I could be anything I want to be as long as I put my mind to it, and he's right. You know, it's all around that purpose and having a mindset that, you know, you want to succeed, you know, not be beaten. Put me on a goal setting, I still goal set today, you know. So those sort of things that he taught me in those early years, I still carry with me today.
So under the very, even in those days, the masterful guide of Wayne Bennett, you were able to then, yes, build a career, but also have rugby league as a pretty strong focus. When you started to ply your trade in the Brisbane Rugby League, these were pretty serious. It was a very serious era.
Lumbie. Meninga. Thompson on the left, but Meninga will split them. He'll score. They won't stop him. And that's really the icing on the cake. And how happy is he over that? What a try.
There's champions, there's future immortals, and the quality of the footy was just raw, it was pure, it was pretty bloodthirsty at times.
Yeah, it was. It taught you to grow up.
Back to Lewis, then away to McQuirter. Klein, wrapped up by Astle and Meninga, thrown to the ground. Dumped to the ground, actually. He's hurt.
I was lucky enough to, you know, go straight into first grade for Brisbane South, you know, at sort of 18 years of age. But you have to toughen up pretty quick. It took me a while, honestly. It was scary.
There was a little bit of going in on the tackle. Look at this out wide here. Meninga and Dutton. Oh, that's as bad as I've seen in a grand final.
That's what happened in those days. You know, you get king hit, or you play on. Basically, if you get tipped on your head, it was play on those days. Rugby league, to me, it's a competitive sport. I'm not saying you have to be a bully, but you got to be really competitive, and you got to beat the person on the other side of the field. And I learnt that in the BRL.
The big fella starting to stride out. Now he sends it back inside to Belcher. Belcher away to Meninga. Meninga over the top to Muller. Play on. And away back to Meninga. Meninga bustling for the corner, and he's in. The big fella using his power is over for the try. That's to Mal Meninga. Now back to Meninga and Crunch Shilowski. Crunch Scott Lewis. Down he goes in the corner.
You always had a presence, and that looks like it comes naturally, but maybe it's something you had to learn.
I was very physical, Vonnie.
Yeah,
I was very physical, and I was pretty big, you know, in those times as well, you know. So, yeah, you get to learn to use your size.
He's looking for Meninga. He's got it to him. The big fella puts Beetson out of the way. Didn't he hit Beetson then? Oh, Meninga really means business today. 15 and a half stone of brute strength.
See you later, Big Artie.
Belcher. Meninga, there's the hole for Meninga to go through. He's charging up the common. Scott, he's looking for Thompson, decides to go himself. Oh, Scott everybody there!
So strong, so smart, and that's what set you above, and that's how you were able to change the tone of games very early.
Dad was a smart player. He was, you know, captain, coach everywhere he went. He understood the game. I watched the game, you know, intensely. You know, I picked things up all the time, and then Wayne was such a smart individual, coach-wise, you know, learnt a lot.
You were starting to build a reputation very quickly. And I remember talking to Bobby McCarthy, and he said, he called South straight away, South Sydney, when you're in the BRL, and said, I've got this kid, Mal Meninga, you're going to want to take a look at him. I know East came looking pretty early. Who else wanted to sign you in those early years when you were playing for South?
When I was at the academy, Dad and Mum, we met up with Harry Bath from the Dragons.
Yeah.
So he wanted to take me down there to the Dragons, you know, when I was a 17-year-old kid. Harry said to me, this is how ambitious I was. This is what goal setting does to you. I've never really told this story, Vonnie. So we went away, and I said to Dad, because Harry part of the conversations. We'll bring you up and we'll put you in the lower grades, and we'll bring you up and we'll gradually get you into first grade. And I said to Dad and Mum afterwards, I said, I'm not going there because I'm going to play for Queensland. This is, oh, seriously, this is 78. I was going to play for Queensland the next year.
Meninga with the bulging thighs.
Of course, there is some South Sea Island blood in Meninga. Way back, he said. He was born in Bundaberg. Only 18 years of age, Rex.
Strikes it. I think it's a goal.
You know what I remember about 79, getting picked in the Queensland team? I remember Wayne come up to me and he said, congratulations, but I didn't think you deserved it.
Such a Wayne thing.
It's such a Wayne thing, you know. This day and age, you know, he did it for a purpose, eh? Because he wanted me to play well, you know, just because he wanted me to play well. I'm going to prove you wrong type thing, you know.
For you to then prioritise being a Queenslander, that was part of who you wanted to be, and I can see the early pride and the passion and the spirit that, you know, this young Mal Meninga, he just wanted to be a Queenslander first and foremost. So what was it like that moment that you ran out Lang Park behind Arthur Beetson?
We had no idea about Origin. We had no idea how that was all going to pan out, but you can see it in the passion of Beetso. It was one of the most enjoyable games I've ever had, honestly. I mean, I couldn't believe the crowd. I couldn't believe running out behind Arthur Beetson. You know, I remember him writing a letter to me once and telling me how proud he was of me about, you know, upholding my values and upholding my culture, being an Australian South Sea Islander, and not deviating from that. I think that was a really powerful message for me as well, because that just reinforces things, you know, because you respect this man. He's got an aura. He's got an aura about him. You know, he sort of set me a direction as well around who I was again, you know, to being proud of who I am. You didn't want to let him down. You didn't want to let Queensland down. You learnt those sort of things, and it was, to me, it was the catalyst for us young fellas. You know, Wally, myself, Chris Close, you know, all those, you know, Kerry Bowstead, you know, all these young fellas starting to come through. That made us realise, hey, we're better than what we think we are. You know, we can actually beat these fellas, and that's what I preach. You know, with, you know, every time when I was coaching Queensland, every time I played, I knew that I could compete in that arena.
Meninga with his third attempted goal. Oh, he struck that beautifully. This is a great goal. Look at that, right over the black dot or the red dot. And there's the scoreline that the fans love up here at Lang Park.
You said you were having fun. You kicked 7 from 7 that night. That's still an Origin record. You couldn't miss.
Our toe poke days. Oh, God. I got lucky, honestly. You know, I love kicking, you know, but I was sort of I was a designated kicker at Origin level because no one else wanted to kick, basically, so that was me.
How did Origin change you?
I put a jersey on and I can make a difference. That's what Origin did for me, you know, and I didn't want to let my mates down, and it was a greater purpose. And I didn't want to let my state down. You know, that was, you know, so entrenched in all of us. We don't let our state down. This is a bigger thing than us. It's not about us. You know, it's about the jersey, and it's about the people of Queensland who support us.
And the things you established, the founding fathers for the Queensland Origin, those values are now still as relevant as they were back then.
So proud of that, Bonnie, honestly. Because, you know, I think it's important, again, we talk about it, but we brought some of the old fellas in. You know, I started coaching, and we brought the old fellas in, and we had a bit of a yarn to the young fellas, you know, about Origin and, you know, the characteristics that we expect and the expectations that come with that jersey. And, you know, I look around the room, we had 32 players this particular meeting, and I mean, a couple had, you know, wet eyes, you know, because it meant something to them, you know. So that's why I think Origin's so great, because it means something to everyone, not just the players, but to everyone. You know, everyone has a side. No matter, we're here in Vanuatu, and then I've talked to people here, and they're Queensland players, supporters. You know, just things like that. That's how big Origin is. It's become bigger than the game.